Hey everybody, this is Cresso. Hey, in this audio I'm going to talk about a movie me and my friend of mine, we just checked out. It's called Birth of a Nation. And very fascinating movie. Kind of made me think of this movie I saw months back a little bit, State of Jones. But this movie is definitely, wow, I just want everybody to check it out. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a spoiler alert. Okay, just giving you heads up. All right. I just wanted to express things about this movie. So again, it's a little bit of a spoiler alert in case anybody want to check it out. But I do recommend anyone to, when you can, check it out because it's really good. It's really deep. I see a lot of different movies in the past about slavery, and this movie really. I don't know, this movie really took it in a different level for me personally, and it just helped me understand about the history of America. And a lot of us, we grew up believing certain things about America, and it's just everything. And it's also, I find it interesting that this movie came out a couple of days before Pirate Day. aka Columbus Day. Whether if you don't agree or not, Columbus is played a role as a pirate, came into this land and slaughtered Indians and stuff like that, natives. So yeah, but you won't get that in public school though. This movie, I felt so emotionally angry in some parts, and it didn't have any good reviews. I kind of wonder why. I mean, my friend of mine, she was telling me it didn't get good reviews on Rotten Tomato and some other review source, and I was telling her, why would you think this movie didn't get any good reviews? And she said, she said she liked the movie. It was very good. I guess because Nate Turner. Now I'm sorry everybody, I'm doing this audio. I got the actor's name that played Nate. His name is Nate or Nat. So if I got his name wrong, the character in the movie name mixed up with the actor's name, I'm sorry. I'm just doing this audio because I'm out and about. So excuse me if I got the name part wrong a little bit. But the character in the movie is Nate Turner. But yeah, he was a preacher, and it was a slow movie. It's a long movie though, but just got so upset about the slavery. Something that they taught, some scenes in the movie was really, it was synchronicity in terms of what I'm aligning myself to know about the whole, how America is a huge slave plantation in many ways, even from the start of the formation of this country. I'm not talking about the natives though. I'm talking about the colonials when they came here and tried to, to colonize this land. But the whole slavery thing, it's really interesting because there's a scene in a movie when I think it was in the beginning of the movie, I think it was Nate Turner's father. I believe it was his father, sorry, and he had to run away because he had a pass. One of the three guys, Caucasian, that was asking, hey, nigger, you have a pass, whatever, and he showed him the pass, and they was going to shoot him anyway. But the point is about the pass, that you need a pass to go to point A to point B. That was synchronicity because information I aligned myself to know about the license. And I was telling my friend of mine, I was whispering in her ear, I was saying, hey, that's the same information that I already know about what the license is. You see, everybody, just really briefly, I'm gonna dance around a little bit of the movie and things about what I know now about the system in this country. The whole thing with the license, everybody, it's the same thing. It's the same thing like back in the slavery and doing even before the Civil War days. This kind of goes back way before the Revolutionary days. But when you have a license to drive, license to marry, license to plumbing, license to maybe yawn, license to blow gas, or whatever it is, whatever the system that's requiring you for a license, it's the same thing as you're getting permission. You're a slave. When you look at your license, your name's in caps is because that name in caps is that not just that you're a debtor, but you are basically, it's shown that you are a prisoner of war. It's very twisted how the system is. You are a prisoner of war because only either you're a prisoner of war or you're a slave. And if you go back, there's a you know, I put information down the bottom of my description. I want you to check my blog out that tells you about what the license is. And it's illegal. License is illegal. Now, we don't know about these things growing up. You know, the system's not going to tell you that. But yeah, so that scene in the movie, it was like, wow, it was the same stuff that I already know about the licenses and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely, you are either a slave or you're a prisoner of war. And, that's exactly what the system looks at everybody here in this country. Not just that you're a belligerent, but, you know, you're a prisoner of war. You know, you're a slave. You're an adult, stupid child. Let's just put it this way, okay? Man, I just got just a lot of insights, just understanding what the country is, where it's at now. Now, back then, it was very brutal in different levels. But if you look at anybody look at this movie or have seen movies like that based on slavery and the whole plantation, the prison system is basically like, it's exactly the same. And now, a lot of us, we don't have sympathy for somebody that committed murder, raped their child and all that. Okay, I understand fully where everybody's coming from. A lot of the laws, we think is law, by the way, a lot of these statute and codes and everything, that's like over 600 million statute and codes. A lot of people are voluntarily putting themselves in prison. And, but yeah, and a lot of people put in prisons, basically, it's illegal. I'm not, again, look, I understand this is a very sensitive part about people committed murder and all that. I understand. All right, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about other so-called laws that these lawyers that they implement, but a lot of it is statute and codes. So the slave plantation in prison is no different than the slaves back then. Okay, anything outside the prison institution, that America itself is. It is a slave plantation in different levels, like I was telling you about the license, or any permission that you need from the so-called government or corporation. Okay, I will call this. A lot of us live in moderate slavery. Okay, and it is very strange. It's fucking sick, but it's for what it is. I mean, we could do something about it. I mean, this is just a game a lot of us were playing. So yeah, just to go back to the movie, I was so bothered about how the people was, one guy in the movie, he didn't want to eat. He was going on a hunger strike. And, you know, and they treated him and his friend, you know, these are two, I hate to use the word black people, white people, especially after I uploaded my video about how we label ourselves with skin color like black, white, green, whatever. But for the sake of this audio, I'm just going to say black people. Or maybe I'll just say brown skin, whatever. But the slaves, one of them didn't want to eat. And because he was going on a hunger strike, they busted the guy's teeth open. They busted his teeth open because they need him strong and healthy to do other slavery tasks. And they shoved the food down the guy's, down his throat. And face was muzzled like some brutalized, being an animal that's being tortured. Let's say, a lot of deep stuff in that movie. I'm like, wow, man. I had to look down. There's some couple of scenes I had to look down. It was like I had to say to myself, okay, it's just a movie. Yeah, it is based on true events, but it's just a movie. And the whole thing, people standing up, how the quote-unquote word of God is being used by the masters to justify their means of slavery. And so Nate Turner, he was a preacher, and he was preaching. He was giving hope in his own way. He was giving hope to a lot of people, and people was moved by it. And it's interesting because you see the system how it's run in America. I have somebody told me that if you want to understand how the system works, try to get the second version of King James, the King James Bible. I think it's called the second version. Sorry, I don't remember that tiny detail, but everything, the way the system's run, they use scriptures or passage, or let's say, if you look at the King James Version, second edition, and if you decode it, you definitely understand how the system works between the court systems, everything. You don't look at it, and I'm thinking about getting the King James Bible. Reason why I stopped reading the Bible back then, because I looked at it as more of a religious term. But I just was thinking about, you know what, let me give it a shot, and let me get the King James Version, because I want to try to use that, and as other people have, I want to use that to decode the system. The group that I mentioned on my other video, okay, about changing your status to a private American, that group is called Legal Deception. They use past scriptures in the Bible, the King James Version, okay, to decode the system. Okay, I don't want to go too far. I want to talk about this movie a little bit, okay? And so anyway, so anybody that joins that group on Facebook or check out the audios, you see if you listen to it, you understand what I'm talking about. So the system in America, in this country, is built on the King James Version, witchery, witchcraft. I kid you not. If you look at the hidden customs of how the church, the court system works, if you look at your judge, okay, or you want to call it magistry, or anything that works for the queen, especially here in America, if you look at the black robe, if you go back in those days in England, the judges are mimicking of King George. The behavior, the church is basically also, the court system is kind of like functioning as a church. So the judge is kind of like, he's kind of like a priest, and he's kind of like that, and he's like an administered also, in terms of whatever money he's getting. Some people call it, judges are actually a trustee. It gets complicated, so I want to make it this simple in this audio. But the judge is basically kind of like a priest, not just playing as a god character, but a priest. So his or her role is to forgive your sins, and forgive your sins. It's very twisted. They'll just charge you like what you've been charged with. You go to court and they'll say, do you understand what you've been charged with? So charging is that they're charging your account, which is your whatever, tap into your birth certificate. Sorry, I don't want to go too far off. See, you understand what I'm saying. A lot of stuff that I got from this movie and I'm putting together for what I know what the system is, it's very interesting. But mainly the focus on this movie is the slavery thing. Okay? And if you haven't, for those that's listening to my audio and you're open-minded, okay, you understand what I'm talking about. Between a license, okay, how the government, the system, or let's just say government, because we all think it's a government, it's nothing but a private corporation, okay? It's not anything to do with the people, for example, okay? But anything that is involved with the government or the system is to control you. Okay? So yeah, it's just amazing. Nate Turner was never really, at the end of the movie, when they hanged him, everybody wanted to hang him and all that. I saw the blue coats towards the end of the movie, and they ambushed him. And I'm saying to my friends, oh, wait a minute. I said, the blue coats is no different than the red coats, because they obviously was aware of the slave plantation. And a lot of us think that the blue coats are the good guys, beating or defending themselves against the red coats. But anybody, I tell you this, for what I know, and if you do your research, I'll do my best to provide some updated stuff on my blog on these things. But the redcoats, Britain was occupying after the Revolutionary War was over. It's not like they got beaten and just like they saying to themselves, retreat, let's go back. No, it's the redcoats been occupied. I mean, if you look at New York City and you look at the New England states, is a replica of England. Streets are narrow and all that stuff, and the streets, all that, names and everything that was basically is a replica of England. So it's amazing. So all that stuff, the slavery and all that, I mean, America is basically founded on slavery. We call this land of the free, but no, it's not. It is based on slavery. Based on piracy. You know, Columbus is a pirate. And not just that, you know, again, the slavery. And from the Civil War days to now, you know, a lot of us look and say, well, no, that's not going on the way it was back then. Yeah, it is in different ways. I call it moderate slavery. Okay, but if you look at the prison institution, there's a lot of stuff that people behind bars that they're not supposed to be in. But a good number of people volunteer themselves to be in prison. Okay, so yeah, and I was just so upset. It's like, damn, you know, they don't talk about. I don't remember hearing Nate Turner in public school. They won't talk about him. It's interesting. It is public school. They don't make Malcolm X as a real American hero. I got out of public school that basically he's just a person that's trying to stir up trouble, and he got assassinated. That's the stuff that I've got about the history of Malcolm X. And, yeah. It's interesting, though. It really is. It really is. The whole thing with the slavery thing. But, yeah, this system is basically based on slavery, even to this day. So I care less about America. The idea of America? No, I don't. I honestly don't. England is still behind the scenes. You got, you know, the Queen owns a lot. If you look at your Social Security benefits and everything, all that's tied with the over there in England, all your so-called American handouts. But this country is based on deception. Actually, it's not anything to do with not just slavery, but the deception. This is a really interesting movie. I know I'm talking about a bunch of stuff. I just want to have this nice talk with everybody. If anybody's listening to this audio, and man, it's just the way I'm glad. I mean, I felt in touch about it because they basically, a lot of people have been slaughtered, beaten down, you know, the slaves, and then in the movie they just retaliated. They slaughtered a lot of the masters while they were sleeping, and I felt like, in my heart, I'm going to tell you this, to tell you the truth, everybody, I say, yeah, good. I felt good about that. And I felt like it was necessary. You got men and women treated like animals based on a certain skin color. And there's so much ignorance within the history of America. There's so much ignorance. It is. I look at it this way, that I do see a second revolutionary war, because I feel in my heart it has to be required to remove the system or change it up, shrink the corporation, but it's gonna fall off anyway. The deception that's dependent on people to be so stupid. I realized that people, this is what I envision, that people become more educated enough and more open and get out of that slavery trip. Man, I just tell you, I do see a revolutionary war happen again. And I gotta say this, everybody. What I envision about a second revolutionary war is us taking down the American flag. Burn it, do whatever the hell we want with it. But there's not going to be any flags. It's just that we are whatever we want to be. We're living our freedom for who we are. Freedom is life. And there is no flags. You know, I'm going to definitely provide some interesting articles on my blog. And I'm going to talk about some stuff about I'm going to definitely expose more and more what the what the United States government is and what the police really are. I'll say it is, the police are they are part of a private corporation. But yeah, I'm going to definitely expose what these law enforcers, quote unquote law enforcers, are. I'm going to do that. The law enforcers, they kind of play the role as the masters. They won't say that. And if you tell a police officer, if they pull you over, what should you want me to do, master? They will be taken back. I think I don't know if they'll have anything to say. They'll say to you like, what the hell are you talking about? You call a police officer master? Oh man. They won't like that, but they're not going to say anything. You know, you call a judge God. Hey, God, what do you want me to do, God? I don't understand, God. Can you please help me? You fuck with their minds like that. Yeah, you definitely, I'm telling you, I'm going to do everything I can to really talk about stuff in my blog. This movie motivated me more. It does. I was upset. And Nate Turner, they hanged him. They cut his body up however they did it. And I don't know how they did it. They done something to his body. That way his name is not honored or something like that. But I can tell you that when I went to public school, I never heard anything about Nate Turner. But now I understand why. The public schools, everybody, I'm going to tell you this. The public school is part of the United States corporation. It's a government school. And they're going to tell you what you want to hear. You're not going to ever hear the truth when you go to public school. When you take your kid to public school, don't expect your kid to know what things actually happen. Because if a lot of people understand how this country's built, how the deception works how the system's playing you every time, the deception, it takes away their power. The system will be on its knees. That's the truth. When you see that these cops that you see around there, they really don't have a jurisdiction, that the police is based on contract. When you sign a ticket, when they give you a ticket and you have to sign, you're agreeing to a contract. I've heard some people writing in the tickets saying no signature, no contract. That's what it is. It's not about them. If you get a ticket for your seatbelt, it's nothing to do about they care about you, because they don't want your head to go outside the windshield. They want you to sign a contract. So they'll get millions and millions of dollars based on your birth certificate. Okay, when you sign. Okay? And a lot of things what the cops doing is illegal, far as the them issuing you a ticket. But I'm gonna provide that. I already actually put some stuff on my blog anyway, but I'm gonna do another article and emphasize this more. But as far as a license and the whole thing, we're definitely it's a paradigm of slavery, or you're a prisoner of war. Okay? Do you need people permission to drive? That's the question you have to ask yourself. That's what it's built. We got judges playing God or playing as your king, really, and the way it works, But this movie is very interesting. Just check this movie out. I'm just having it just... It's not really so much a review. I guess maybe it is a review on this movie, but I gotta say it's a good movie. Man, I gotta tell you this. I was so upset. I wanted to leave them. I wanted to walk out the theater. Not saying it was a bad movie. I just felt so upset. One of my earlier clips, I think it was last year, I expressed that I grew up in a white neighborhood, in a black neighborhood. I know the experience of racism, and how you're treated and all that. I've been through that on both sides, one skin color is not really better than the other skin color, to tell you the truth, everybody. This whole thing with the skin color and how we are, a lot of us, we grew up and how this country was shaped to be is complete, pure ignorance. Freedom is a joke. America has really nothing to do with freedom. It's really not. It's really not. It's not. And what's behind America is actually England, but it has nothing to do with slavery. Freedom, sorry. It's a lot to do with slavery, control, a lot of it. Something else I learned recently, a matter of fact, I want to close out soon. What I learned about with the whole thing with civil rights. Civil rights is part of their United States code. Civil rights. Civil rights is just nothing but a mere privilege. And I was telling my friend the other day, I said, I understand why Martin Luther King was going through so much. I was telling my friend, I don't think he understood what the United States is. That is not actual government that you're dealing with. You're dealing with a private, a corporation that's registered. The United States is registered as a corporation. You're not really dealing with the government for the people, but the civil rights is basically nothing but privilege. So I understand people that plays around with civil rights leaders, and you kind of wondering why the system is still the same, because you're going according to their law. I'm talking about the United States corporation. Okay, so I don't care about the idea of civil rights. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to get too complicated in this audio. I just want to share about this movie. It's very deep, how people was treated, and this country, America, is basically founded on slavery. But today is moderate slavery. Listen, what I'm telling you all this is for you to open your mind, okay? Open yourselves up. Check out that movie if you want, all right? And just because I'm sharing these things, I'm not saying to everybody to sit with that and there's nothing we could do. No, there's a lot of things we could do. This system is not above me. This system can never define who I am. I allow the system to believe that it has anything above me, but it's not. I'm playing my role to inspire everybody to recognize the deception, of how it works. You take your kid to public school, again, don't expect your kid to understand, to get the full grasp how it is, how the system works. So I definitely got a link below about licensing, and you're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna open your minds, and it's a lot of interesting stuff. I'm gonna also post some stuff about what the police are, and every law is based on color law, it's statute and codes. Police, all your local law enforcers, they're not real police officers, but the history with it's amazing. They're no, police officers no different than a security guard, like Paul Blart. I'm not kidding. All right. I'm gonna put a lot of information about them, and I'm gonna put some very interesting, fun information what DC really is. A little preview on that. Washington DC is a foreign entity. Is not anything to do whatsoever about me and you. It's not. It's like the Crown Corporation's cousin, basically. All right. I'm gonna put some real fun and interesting information on my blog. So please check my blog out. Like and subscribe my channel. And anybody has whatever you want to spare, a small donation, doesn't matter. Please do so. That information, the tabs are on my channel and it's on my blog. All right. It's been a pleasure doing this audio. This movie is not so much a review like an official review. I was just discussing some scenes in this movie and how it's very, just can't believe it. Part of me can't believe it. The madness. Consciousness allowed duality for a reason. Good versus evil. And the good in all of us always shines. No matter where you're from, no matter what part of consciousness you're from, good always shines. But consciousness allows duality for a reason. Some of the stuff I may not have all the answers, and stuff I see and stuff that I'm realigning myself with the information about this country, for example, is complete madness. But these things have a purpose, not to conquer you or me, because I know who I am. And I want to inspire you to all recognize and know who you are. And embracing all possibilities of life. Okay, it's not meant for man to have authority over another man or to be conquered. These are life experiences we go through. And remember, the light in us, the good in us, shines through. It shines. It definitely outshines. All right, everybody. Until then, I will be back with another interesting topic. Take care.